In 2045, a teenager in Texas orders a phone. It's designed in California, powered by chips from Taiwan, assembled in Vietnam. But the software, the payments, the entire digital infrastructure, controlled by a country 7,000 miles away. And here's the uncomfortable part. That country might not be the United States. Because the question isn't just who will be richer by 2050. It's who will quietly control the rules of the entire global economy. Now, before we go deeper, I'm Xavier. And if you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed something strange. The world feels divided. Supply chains breaking. Trade wars rising. Countries choosing sides. It doesn't feel like globalization anymore. It feels like a silent competition. And at the center of it, two giants. The United States and China. Let's set the stage. Right now, the US is still the world's largest economy, roughly $27 trillion. China is close behind, around $18 trillion. But at first glance, America still looks comfortably ahead. But here's where it gets interesting. China got there in just 40 years. The US took over 200. And that speed changes everything. You might be thinking, Xavier, fast growth doesn't mean long-term dominance. And honestly, that sounds reasonable. We've seen this before. Japan in the 80s, the Soviet Union, both looked unstoppable until they weren't. But China isn't following the same playbook. Let's break this down simply. The US economy runs on spending. Americans spend money, a lot of it. Credit cards, mortgages, student loans, subscriptions. Nearly 70% of the economy comes from consumer spending. It looks like strength, but it's also dependency. Because growth depends on people continuing to spend, even when they probably shouldn't. I've seen this personally. A 25-year-old in New York, earning $80,000 a year, still living paycheck to paycheck. Not because they're poor, because their lifestyle is expensive. Rent, car payments, debt. It looks like success, but it's actually leverage. China built its economy differently. Less consumption, more production, factories, infrastructure, exports. For years, China was the world's factory. But now, it's trying to become something else. The world's system builder. An IMF report quietly revealed something interesting. China isn't just growing. It's expanding influence through massive global projects, ports, railways, energy systems. On the surface, it looks like development. But underneath, it creates dependence. Countries borrow money. China builds infrastructure. And suddenly, China has influence over trade and decisions. You might be thinking, Xavier, this is just normal investment. And you're not wrong. But here's where it gets dangerous. This isn't just about money. It's about control of systems. Ray Dalio once said, "Whoever controls the world's reserve currency controls the world." Right now, that's the US dollar. Over 80% of global trade still runs through it. That gives America power. Sanctions, restrictions, financial leverage. But China is quietly building alternatives, digital currencies, new payment systems, trade outside the dollar. At first, it feels small, but over time, small shifts become big changes. Here's the strange part. The US dominates innovation. Apple, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia. But China dominates scale. And scale can overpower innovation if it's big enough. Think about it like this. America invents. China manufactures faster, cheaper, bigger, and over time, control shifts from invention to distribution. Now, demographics. China is aging fast, fewer workers, slower growth. That's a real problem. Meanwhile, the US has a younger population, more immigration, more flexibility. On paper, America has the edge. So you might be thinking, okay, the US wins. At this point, you're probably saying, Xavier, you're wrong here. And honestly, that's fair. But here's what most people miss. This is no longer a labor-driven economy. It's a systems-driven economy. AI, automation, data, and China is moving fast here. Heavy investment, massive data access, centralized execution. A Harvard study pointed this out quietly. China's real advantage is speed. They build, deploy, and scale faster. Meanwhile, the US innovates more, but moves slower. More freedom, less coordination. So now, we have two models. America, creative, decentralized, consumer-driven. China, structured, coordinated, system-driven. And the real question isn't, which is better? It's, which one scales better? Let's zoom out. This isn't just about GDP. It's about influence. Who sets the rules? Who controls supply chains? Who defines technology? Who owns the systems behind everyday life? Because by 2050, you might still live in the US, use American apps, earn in dollars, but the systems underneath might be influenced by China. And that's the uncomfortable possibility. Not domination, not collapse. Something more subtle. Shared power. Competing systems. A divided global economy. At first, this seems fine, but it isn't. Because divided systems create friction, trade barriers, tension, instability, and that affects everything. Jobs, prices, your future. So who will rule the global economy by 2050? The honest answer? Probably neither. And both. Because this isn't a winner-takes-all game anymore. It's a shift toward dual power. Two systems, two influences, two visions of the world. And the real question isn't who wins. It's which system will you be living under without even realizing it? If you found this useful, like the video and subscribe. Because the next decade isn't just about economics. It's about understanding the system you're all